If you've been paying attention to how fast women's basketball is growing, what Caitlin Clark just did with NBC feels like a huge turning point. We're watching one of the faces of the WNBA start to slide into national TV in a way we almost never see from an active player, and it's happening while she's still right in the middle of her prime. On February 1st, inside Madison Square Garden, right before the Los Angeles Lakers took on the New York Knicks, Caitlin made her national television debut as a special contributor on NBC's Basketball Night in America pregame show. This wasn't just a quick interview or a feel-good feature. NBC sat her down at the desk as part of the broadcast team and put her in the mix with full-time analysts and Hall of Fame names. The setting alone said a lot. Madison Square Garden, Lakers versus Knicks, Sunday night basketball on a major network. That's as big as regular season NBA coverage gets. And instead of waiting until she's retired and 10 years removed from playing, NBC brought in an active WNBA star and essentially said, "You belong in this conversation right now." From NBC's side, this wasn't some experiment they threw together at the last minute. NBC Sports President Rick Cordella has already made it clear they had a plan, and Caitlin Clark executed it exactly how they hoped. In a recent interview, he talked about how comfortable she looked alongside the crew and how much she seemed to genuinely enjoy being part of the broadcast. He didn't dance around it either. He said straight up that NBC wants more of her on camera and that they're already making that happen. And they are. Cordella confirmed that Caitlin is already booked to come back on March 29th for another pregame appearance when the Oklahoma City Thunder host the Knicks. So this isn't one of those "that was fun, thanks for stopping by" situations. NBC is clearly planting the seeds for something ongoing. When a network with that kind of reach and that kind of NBA rights deal starts talking about you in future tense terms, it usually means they see you as part of their long-term picture. If you saw that first appearance, you know why they're excited. Caitlin didn't look like someone trying TV for the first time and just hoping to survive the segment. She looked like she belonged there. She broke down matchups, talk about how she views the game, and bounce off the other personalities with an ease that you just can't fake. Most people struggle the first time those bright lights hit, and the countdown to live starts. She just slid right into it. And look at who she was sitting next to. Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. All three of them are former NBA superstars and future or current Hall of Famers. Add in Maria Taylor as the host, one of the most polished and respected broadcasters in sports. And that's a heavyweight lineup. Being the only active player at that desk, the only woman and the youngest person on set could have easily made her look out of place. Instead, she brought a different kind of energy and made the whole thing feel fresher. The reaction from viewers seemed to mirror what NBC was hoping for. While ratings always depend on a lot of different factors, the matchup, the timing, the stakes, that Sunday broadcast pulled in strong numbers, and you could feel the extra conversation around it. Clips of Caitlin's segments started circulating online. Fans were talking not just about LeBron and the Knicks, but about how good she was on camera, how natural she seemed, and how cool it was to see a WNBA star in that role. That's the Caitlin Clark effect, moving into another lane. We've already seen what she can do for attendance, viewership, and interest in women's basketball on the court. Now we're watching her shift some of that momentum into media. NBC isn't blind to any of this. They're in the middle of a big push to make Sunday night basketball a real anchor of their weekend programming and squeeze everything they can out of their renewed NBA media rights. Having Caitlin tied to that feels very intentional. There's also a broader trend she's tapping into. Networks across sports have realized that fans love hearing directly from people who are or were in the locker room. You see more former players in analyst chairs than ever before because that insider perspective connects differently. But what makes Caitlin's move so interesting is that she's not retired. She's not a decade removed from competition. She's not speaking in the past tense. She's in the W right now, facing scouting reports, traveling, getting game planned for. Her analysis comes from someone still in the grind. And let's not gloss over just how accomplished she already is in that grind. Since she entered the WNBA in 2024, she's basically been appointment viewing. She went first overall in the 2024 WNBA draft. She's already a two-time WNBA All-Star. She took home Rookie of the Year in her first season. Just a couple of seasons in, she's not just a promising young player. She's one of the faces of the league. You see it everywhere. When her team, the Indiana Fever, goes on the road, attendance spikes. Her jersey is one of the most common ones you see in the stands. Kids wear her name. Adults wear her name. Fans who didn't watch a second of women's basketball 3 years ago are now arguing about her usage rate and pick and roll reads. That's reach. And NBC knows that if you put someone with that kind of pull in front of a national NBA audience, you're probably going to bring some new viewers with her. What makes her such a natural fit for TV, though, isn't just the star power, it's how she talks about the game. She breaks things down in simple, clear language without dumbing anything down. She can talk about defensive coverages and spacing and decision-making in a way that hoop nerds respect. But casual fans can still follow. That's the sweet spot networks dream of when they look for on-air talent. You also have the factor in the business side. Caitlin hasn't just shown up on NBC out of nowhere. She's already been active in the media and marketing world. One of the more notable partnerships she's had is with Comcast's Xfinity brand, a deal that started before she ever sat behind the NBC desk. That connection matters. Comcast is NBC's parent company, so there's already corporate familiarity and trust there. From their perspective, she's not just a player with buzz. She's someone they know can represent their brands well. That kind of synergy is powerful. She can appear in a commercial break during a WNBA game, then pop up as an on-air contributor during an NBA pregame, all under the same corporate umbrella. It's the kind of cross-platform presence that makes executives very happy and makes athletes very valuable. The most interesting part, especially if you care about the WNBA long-term, is that Caitlin isn't using this TV opportunity to distance herself from the women's game. She's bringing it with her. During her NBC appearance, she didn't just talk about the Lakers and Knicks. She also used that stage to weigh in on something huge for the WNBA, the ongoing collective bargaining agreement negotiations. She struck an optimistic tone, saying she believed a new deal would get done soon. That might sound simple, but the context is important. The CBA shapes everything about the WNBA's future. Player salaries, revenue sharing, travel conditions, season structure. Having a player of her stature on an NBA broadcast watched by millions talk calmly and confidently about getting to a better place sends a message. It tells casual fans that something big is happening behind the scenes in the W, and it tells other players that one of their top stars is paying attention and using her platform. This is where her rising media presence intersects directly with the evolution of women's basketball. She's not just a scorer or a passer. She's becoming one of the key public voices of the sport. When someone in that position sits next to Carmelo Anthony and Maria Taylor on national TV and gives her perspective on both the NBA and the WNBA, it helps erase some of the imaginary walls fans put up between the two. It says, these are all part of one basketball universe, and I move comfortably inside it. For the league, that's gold. The WNBA has been working for years to get more mainstream coverage, more media respect, and more crossover credibility. Having one of its active stars show up in NBA programming and absolutely hold her own accelerates that process. It puts her, and by extension her peers and her league, into living rooms that might never have stumbled onto a WNBA game on their own. Now, for Caitlin personally, this doesn't look like a sign that she's looking to scale back her playing career anytime soon. She's just 24. She's deep into building something special on the court. Everything about how she's approached this media stuff suggests it's a compliment, not a replacement. Think of it more like a player who works out in the morning, practices with their team, and then later that week spends a night talking hoops on TV. In today's sports world, that kind of juggling act is becoming more normal, especially for the biggest names. But it absolutely does feel like a preview of whatever comes next, whenever her playing days are done, and that should still be a long way off. You can already see the outline of a second career. There's a path there where she could cover NBA games, WNBA games, college games, maybe even Olympics or international tournaments. Networks love people who are both experts and stars. Caitlin checks both boxes. You can also imagine how much more comfortable she'll be with a decade of extra experience. If she's as composed and engaging on her first national TV hit, imagine what she'll look like after hundreds of games, deeper CBA battles, playoff runs, and maybe championships. She'll have lived just about every angle of the game you can live, and she'll already know how to talk to millions of people about it. For now, though, this early media leap tells us three big things. It tells us NBC is serious about using its NBA rights to build something bigger and fresher, not just recycling the same faces over and over. It tells us Caitlin Clark isn't content to be just a scorer, a passer, or a jersey seller. She wants to shape how we talk about basketball. And it tells us women's basketball is firmly in that space where its biggest stars can move fluidly between leagues, platforms, and roles. You don't get many athletes who can legitimately influence ratings, merch sales, CBA conversations, and broadcast strategy all at once. Right now, Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. Her debut on NBC at Madison Square Garden before Lakers-Knicks wasn't just a cute moment or a nod to her popularity. It was a signal. And with that March 29 Thunder-Knicks pre-game stop already on the calendar, and NBC executives openly saying they want more, it's pretty clear we're just seeing the beginning of what she might become off court, even as she keeps pushing the standard on it.